Greetings, everybody.
There's a ball.
Of course there is. There's always a ball.
Oh, I don't like that.
And it's in your court.
I've told Joe multiple times, no, it's not.
Okay, fine, it's not. That is rescinded, Joe. Give the ball back. I said give it.
It's mine now.
Pass it over, Joe. Where is it? Perfect, thank you.
No.
How many hours did we do the stream again? What did I sign up for?
Greetings, everybody. We have returned once again on this fine Sunday evening to try and entertain you. Tonight we are going to be having a look at the new Mini Osborne, the 945. And then we are going to be checking through the rest of the Knife News polls for Knives of the Years throughout their various categories. And then some rambling and bambling as usual.
Indeed.
Yep.
I should probably mention that we only got one response to the poll as far as a follow-up review. We'll get to what the actual response was later, but
looks like we're gonna do a follow-up review.
Maybe.
No.
It's a response from Mr. Fisk. So
I see.
What's going on, Ben? How are you doing tonight?
Evening.
How's it going?
Yeah, today I was playing around with my bailout.
That blade looks funny.
Your face looks funny.
It's also
Matter
true.
of opinion on both, I think.
No.
We can put up a poll if you want.
Yes, I'll agree.
Ben's in chat. You know how he's going to swing.
I've seen what happens when paper bags roll. I'm not going up against a Tanto blade shape, that's for sure.
On that note, I'm not rocking a bailout this week, but I've gone back to the tried and true swayback because of that. Hey, what's going on, Cody? How you doing tonight?
Yeah, Cody.
Nice seeing you. I gave in to some fear mongering, and I bought myself an AD-15. It's a design I've wanted for a long time, but I fully admit I got this because I became afraid that I may not be able to get them again in short order. So, yeah, it's a cool knife. It's chunky.
The Cold Steel 2021 catalog is going to be very interesting. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So, and last but not least, not a new knife to me, but some new bling, and goddamn, is it blingy? Like it's So
yeah,
we proper to proper.
For a second, I thought it was
there.
For a second, I thought it was an Appalachian, just with that handle.
No, reground blade. And then Joe didn't see that I polished a backspacer as well on it. Just to add a little something to the whole skiing. So,
but describe what's actually going on with the scales there.
Oh, sorry, it's a Flytanium copper that someone did a really awesome patina, I believe, with like salt and ammonia, if I remember my everything correctly, and then clear coated it, so I'm not gonna die of toxins. But
or have it rub off and wear away.
That too, either or. Yeah. So,
I mean, probably one.
One of these things is more important than the other.
Well, it depends on how much you like knives, I guess. But
That's it.
And seeing it on the stream, it's looking very bluish, but it's definitely got that green sort of
aqua-ish kind of tint to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I just want to give a quick shout out. Cody saying he wants that Mini Osborne. Ben is saying right now he's carrying his Balzac Brewery Irish Red Ale. The Knife Whisperer is saying that...
is that an everyday carry?
I hope so. Is it a work knife? Or a work beer, I should say.
Work beer.
A work tool, that's for sure.
There you go. The Knife Whisperer is saying, how's it going? He's not the biggest Benchmade fan, but he digs the Mini 940. Actually prefers it over the full-size 940. Mr. Fisk was late because he's watching Wolf and Bear videos. And other than asking everybody what they're carrying tonight, other than Ben, we're all caught up.
Huzzah. So yeah, before we get into it, I'm going to make sure everyone here and watching in the future likes and subscribes and shares with someone, or else you will be cursed to always have a little hair tangled in your toothbrush. Doesn't matter if it's a dog, a cat, a beard hair, normal hair, a chinchilla hair, something. You'll always have a hair tangled in your toothbrush.
Stop.
Like and subscribe.
Oh,
you're gonna make
not
him,
okay.
You're gonna make him York on stream, dude.
Right into my hoodie. Luckily, I have 2 of these Benchmade hoodies, so
terrible. This video is definitely going to go downhill from there. That's for sure.
Definitely not going up.
I know I'm trying to get you to do a spit take, Paul, but
yeah, no,
that was a little much.
I'm a little pukey, so
that is fair.
Yeah,
y'all should be.
Ben's
thankful.
making fun of me because I'm dying here a little bit. Drinking tea tonight, so you're gonna see sober Paul probably for the first time on stream. Good luck.
Good luck.
Shocked and surprised.
I think there was some hand reviews, as Fisk calls them, that you were probably sober as well. Just juice and not rum or vodka or anything. Somewhere along the way.
Sure, just juice.
But anyway.
It's legal. It's all good. But for the subject at hand.
So to speak. Not that we have it in hand, but
yeah,
we had it in hand for a review. It's crazy. That picture looks full size.
You want to see another picture that's even more crazy?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Take a second to catch up. I took one with
Mr. Fisk is saying spit take 1 point, phlegm take 2 points, puke take 3 points. Dude, I puke so easily. You've got to go the opposite direction. I'll puke before I spit take.
Rough.
I'm fine with that. I'll still get 3 points.
What?
Almost got another one there.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
What's the nose points? Where does that's where I want to know. It's out the nose
points. The phlegm 2 points.
Well, the spit take out the nose is that still only 1 point, or we get half points because it's
But you get double points.
I think it's double points. I think you get 3 points if you do a spit take out the nose because it's both.
It's a little trickier. Yeah, definitely more points for that.
Let the games begin.
Oh, my friend, they've already begun.
Apparently, Justin's not watching us tonight because he's going to go play 2077. So, watching us live is less important than playing a video game that you can literally play whenever you want. Nerd! Bye, Justin.
For shame.
Indeed.
Now back at the topic, Joe, you were talking about forced perspective pictures. Yeah.
So,
So
this I made it look like almost like the original 940 in terms of that
angle right there type of thing.
Yeah. I as soon as I found that angle with my camera, I'm like, I gotta force that a little.
That's my favorite angle to take pictures of, like my frenzy and stuff.
I will
for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
No, it's all right. I'll preface this review just by saying, if you like the large 940 and you just wanted it a little smaller, this is that. They did a really good job of scaling this thing down. I don't think there's any area that was obvious where like, oh wow, that looks a little distorted or strange. I'll switch it back to a more accurate.
No, it's a pretty good shrink compared to others that make the knife look almost like a different knife in the shrink.
Yeah.
By any chance,
shrink.
the shrink.
I know what you mean.
By any chance, did we get a comparison photo?
No, I didn't get a side-by-side shot. But you can. But you can definitely put them side by side to a mini grip, like the 945 and any mini grip, they're almost identical lengths, almost identical grip areas. It's a little bit different, but that'll give you an idea for scale. If you've ever held a mini grip, it's about the same proportion.
Yeah, I'd say that. More neutral handle.
Yeah. Flatter handle for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was something else I wanted to address. I'm sure I'll think of it later, but that's okay.
It'll probably come up when we do the review.
Yeah.
Well, seeing how we're doing it and you're kind of midway through your review.
We're kind of doing the review right now. We've been saying that we're actually doing the review right now.
May as well drop a number, I guess, hey? Okay. I gave this
going first?
A 75. Right, yeah. I was already talking, so I figured may as well. I gave it a 75. Yeah. It's a B minus. Objectively...
That is what I was implying, yeah.
Yeah. Objectively, it got 3 8s. In cost versus fit and finish, cutting ability, and ergonomic execution. I think it works pretty well for a knife of its size. I think most people are going to find it very comfortable in hand. Cost versus materials gets a 7 because it's G10 and it's S30, and yes, there's a dual color layer thing going on, which is cool, but it's G10 and S30. The lockup and actuation, it's a 9. It's actually a really pleasant knife to snap open and closed. Doesn't quite remind me of the old H&K that Benchmade was doing, the old H&K Axis, which Dennis has right over there.
Mm-hmm.
But a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that thing definitely fired a little bit harder, maybe because there was more mass to the blade.
But similar overall length.
Yeah.
Yes. That's going to come up in my review for
Good
sure.
Stuff.
So.
Yeah. On the personal side of things, it kind of suffered a little bit, mostly for my enthusiasm. It gets a 5. I do own an original configuration for the 940. I guess I shouldn't call it original. It's the green aluminum and S30V satin blade. I really like that knife, but the Mini, for whatever reason, my pinky feels like it's constantly sliding off the back of the knife when I try and grip it. It's an awkward 3-finger grip, but not because there's something poking that 4th finger, but because there's nothing poking that 4th finger. So it feels just weird enough for me to dislike it.
Welcome
to
my
world. Goldilocks.
Yeah. But that's
like how I feel about most knives.
But that H&K that Dennis had up, by contrast, that handle is much more comfortable. And same thing with the mini grips, which I have owned in the past as well. So comparing to other options out there, it's just not as comfortable. So that kind of killed my enthusiasm. And that's also tying into my score of 6 for ergonomic preference. Aesthetics, I think this thing looks freaking sweet. Black and blue all over, and it's only got the silver axis lock, which I prefer over a DLC coat, just to prevent a little bit of that lock stick. Otherwise, I think it's a fine knife. It's just probably something that I wouldn't buy. As much as I like the action, it just doesn't feel quite right in my hand.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll go next.
Sure.
Before we get there, Ben's asking in chat how many polar bear dollars this thing's going to run. I want to say it's like 245 Canadian.
205 on Benchmade's website. 205 or 220. I can't remember. I think it's 205.
US.
Benchmade. Yeah. So I scored this bad boy a 73, not far behind Joseph as well. Again, we got there very different ways, but cost versus materials. Okay, G10 and S30. That's fine. Yeah, American made, whatever type of thing. But Buck is throwing that out for almost half that price for a Paul Boss heat treated Buck, no less, right? So fit and finish, it's nice. The one or two that I actually did look at, both of them were completely centered, and the grinds were not terrible. There was one that was like, wah, wah, and then the other one was actually pretty much bang on. Cutting ability, I know Joe gave it an 8, but the 940s are a little thick behind the edge. I know I call it the greatest knife, but part of that is because you're getting a slim package on something that you can hammer on, and it'll still take it. So for how narrow that blade is, I threw it on a 7, right? So ergonomic reference, I was considering the XLs and the double XLs, like Nigel, a little short in the back end, not quite enough there.
Execution, you mean?
Yes, sorry, yeah. And then lock up and actuation. I gave it an 8. I think that's pretty much what I give Benchmades in particular. But a lot of Benchmades in that size do that, like, and I know more than one YouTube reviewer where it's like the fat of your hand can get nicky on it, and the H&K doesn't quite do it, but I can see where the 945 might be in that category. Very similar to my valet type of idea, where it's just it's going to want to bite you on the way down if you've got it in your palm in that weird way, right? You
got to be careful when they're going to bite you on the way down.
Yeah, well, is it better on the way up? I don't think so, but that's that. Yeah, anyway, yeah. So
carried on.
Material choice. I think this is what I gave the Yo Jumbo. I gotta be honest with you, I didn't actually look when I scored it, and I didn't review, but G10 and S30, I think I probably would have given around a 6. I mean, it's the materials have been done over and over. It's not terrible materials, but it's not wow materials either. Pocket ergos, this thing's pretty light. They should have put lightweight on the side of it just to give Spyderco a little twist, something. It's every time they come out with a new bug out or a mini bug out or whatever. Just an
Is it more than 12 grams lighter?
Than the original mini bug or mini Osborne? I'm not. I don't know.
Just within the regular Osborne.
Oh, I guarantee it's more than 12 with the aluminum, right? So
yeah.
Ergonomic Reference, I really like it, but again, with the mini H&K, mini Griptilians, valets, I've got a ton of them, and I do like that mini size. A lot of it for me isn't even so much a 3-finger grip; it's almost just a 2, and you're doing most of your cutting there, and this is just kind of left behind, right? So. I don't it's not necessarily a heavy duty knife, so I'm not looking for a 4-finger grip on it. And enthusiasm, you were dabbling on the mini H&K, and I brought it out a couple times, but I really do believe that the 945 is kind of a good replacement for one of these, for something that you can't get anymore. If you want something that performs axe, probably like performance wise, very, very similar to a mini H&K. I think a 945 is a very good replacement for that, but I don't know if it's a good replacement for the price point that you got to pay for S30 versus D2. Yeah. Butterfly tax at the end of it all. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's my review. So,
you should probably go next, Nigel. I think I'm the high point this week.
Sure. Just let me pull up my.
While he's doing that,
everyone else's.
I will say that the Benchmade 940 blade thickness is 2.9 millimeters. The mini Osborne, the 945, is 2.6 something millimeters. So they do make it thinner, but like that's just a scooch, you know.
I was gonna say, yeah. If you had, I was waiting for the mini because I knew like that's where you were going with that. And if you had dropped a bomb about like at 2.2, maybe even a 2.3, I would have been like, oh snap, okay, I needed to look at that again or something like that. Yeah. But when you tell me 2.9 to 2.6, I'm like, yep. Like it's.
Yeah.
Did you look it up, Joe?
I did, yeah.
Can you tell me the price difference between a full-size G10 without because they don't make a G10 with the coating, do they? The full size?
I don't think
942 or 942 BK. I don't know.
I'm just curious about.
Anyway,
we can let Nigel get into it first, and then I'll come back to this in a moment.
Cool. So overall, I actually gave it a 75. I ended up liking the sling more than I thought I would. 75 equals out to the B-. cost versus material as well as cost versus fit and finish, I both gave a 7. S30 and G10, yeah, once again, it's been overdone. It was really clean, though. Yeah, I don't know. Cutting ability and ergonomic execution, I gave it an 8. Kind of opposite of Dennis, I was thinking of people with the smaller hands and stuff, and thought that was a little odd size for ones with smaller hands, because I actually found it very comfy as a 3-finger grip, very similar to like the sequel or the Valet and whatnot. Lock up and actuation, unless there's some weird issue with it, as a general of the run. Axis locks will usually get a 9 out of me, just because axis locks are nice, the ambidexterousness of it and whatnot.
Whoa.
Personal side of things.
Those were some good words there. The ambidextrousness. I don't even know what the right word would be, but that's awesome.
It's exactly what I said. And I got through it too. That's the impressive part.
That it is.
Material choice. I do like S30 and G10, but it's kind of that run-of-the-mill enjoyment. It's something that I will take, but not really something I'll ever get excited about. Aesthetically, I do find it not quite to that point where it's stubby awkward, but it's getting close. So it's on the fence if I really enjoy it or not. Pocket ergos, it's light, it's little, doesn't really get in the way much. Ergonomic preference and pocket ergos both got the 8, because like I mentioned earlier, quite a comfy little 3-finger grip. And enthusiasm, before I got it in hand, I was honestly thinking it was going to be like a 4, but because it fit really comfy in hand, it's actually bumped it up to the 6.
Nice.
Fair enough, yeah.
Very nice. And I was right. I was correct. I was the high point of the week with a 79, which is a solid B. Cost versus materials, I gave it a 7. Like everyone's saying, it's kind of overdone. Were you able to find the price difference there, Joe?
Yes.
Between the standard.
Okay, so there is no, at least on Benchmade's website, maybe there's an exclusive, dealer exclusive, whatever. The 940-2, the G10 uncoated, is $205.
Okay.
Same price.
And then the knife that we're reviewing tonight, yeah, it's $205 as well. So.
So that's what I thought. That's why
they like to charge for their DLC coating.
Okay,
yes.
I have a theory about that, and remind me about the price point after Paul's done, because I don't want to get in the way now. So,
fair enough. So other than cost versus materials on the objective side, I gave it 8s across the board. The fit and finish is nice. I looked through some other 940s, or at least one 940 that we've reviewed in the past, and I gave that an 8 for cutting ability, so I had to kind of stick with it. Ergos, I gave it an 8. I didn't actually realize that Nigel could fit his hand on it, but I can actually get a 4-finger grip. This might actually be the first knife that Nigel can get a 3-finger grip, and I can actually get a full 4 on.
That's funny.
Yeah, because usually if you can get 3, it's almost too not too
that
big.
Awkward range. Yeah.
Yeah. On the personal side of things, material choice, gave it a 7 again, like Nigel said. It's S30 and G10. I like both of those things to a certain degree. But it's a combination that kind of has been done to death. Aesthetics, ergonomic preference, and enthusiasm, I gave 8s basically across the board for that. For those 3 categories.
Across the board.
You heard me. Specifically, I like the way the 940 looks. So I agree with Nigel. It's almost getting into that kind of squishy category, but I think they kept it just big enough to keep it out of that kind of squished look. Ergonomic preference. The knife is tiny. It's a 940 on steroids as far as in the pocket carry. It friggin' disappears. It's not even there.
The question is does it make you run faster though?
No, because it
faster.
Unfortunately not, because it is slightly over 2 ounces. It's like, I had it here, 2.19 ounces. Stupid.
Compared to the full-size G10?
Oh, full-size G10. Wait.
Because the full-size carbon fiber is like 1.9 or something stupid, isn't it?
No, I think it's over 2. I think it's like a 212 kind of ish category too. I'm not 100%, but yeah.
Benchmade's website doesn't have the weight listed.
While Joe's doing that, I'll get to... I actually have a little asterisk beside Pocket Ergos.
Oh.
You got an asterisk there?
Yes.
Track.
As Dennis likes to say, the abstract.
It's an abstract, yeah.
I almost gave it a 10, but I find it very difficult to give things 10s because there's always the next big thing on the market, and it's been a thing as long as I can remember. I'll give 9s out of 10s. That's kind of my upper echelon as far as things go. Because the enthusiasm will play a part, and I'll enjoy something, and then something new will come out, and my enthusiasm goes up for that thing, and that drives up my enjoyment of it and things like that. Overall, the only thing I think they did wrong was put a blacked out blade on the Mini. I don't prefer DLC coating or coatings on my blade in general. As I look over at my my bailout.
Yeah.
But the bailout is part of the reason why I don't like it, is because that coating is kind of rough, specifically on the bailout, and it does kind of bind up a little bit.
I want to dabble on the you don't give out 10s very often type of thing, right? I think we can all agree that 10s don't come out to play that often. But I think about the hunting documentary on Netflix going on right now with Steve Rinella. I can't remember what he actually made. It's narrated by him, and it's talking about hunting or whatever type of thing, right? And there's the one story about the mule deer that sets the bar. And it's like the I can't remember what the name of it is. The one that every other deer should be judged by type of thing, right? And the instant that you see it, you're like, yes, that's like... So for me, cutting ability on the manly type of thing, like that, that's a 10. And you have got to fight for that category. So I think for me, yes, we are rare to throw them out, but it's one of those instant, just like, that's a trophy on the wall type of category for this thing. And then that's what's setting the bar for all the other kind of knives that you're putting into that category kind of thing, is that one that got that category should be judged by. So. And
I can freely admit to the fact that I've given out a few 10s. I know for sure, like cost versus materials for a few things that are really nice materials for the bang for your buck. I've given, I think, at least 1 or 2. Like I said, sorry, my sister's trying to text me.
For shame. Block her.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think that's it. Is she subscribed? That's the question. So the scores on the wall are going to come. We are tallying, we are formulating them. Fisk is harassing us in chat about it. But we work retail during Christmas, and it's insane and short-staffed on top of that all. So that is probably going to be like a New Year's anniversary, probably one of the first episodes in January. We'll probably have that and celebrate the new year going into with everything from years past. Spoiler.
It's a nice
Some of our older videos are a little bit blurry on the scores. So we're going to have to go through and listen to what people say as far as their scores and then tabulate it that way, which is a much longer process too. So.
When did I start putting up just the stamp of the letter? Oh, but we need the number for never mind, that won't work.
The percentages. Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty.
We're scientifical over here.
Who has good wordage now?
You heard me.
We did. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Don't feel too bad. I've read some really poorly written papers before, so don't worry about it.
And then you got someone to edit them for you before you handed it in?
No. You make the assumption that I read my papers after I write them. No, I already wrote it. Why would I read what I just wrote?
Stream of consciousness. That's
you force somebody else to read it as punishment for your friend.
I've given my professors nosebleeds. They just read and just.
So I wanted to go back and dabble on price point because we're talking about price point, and especially with this guy here and butterfly taxes and whatever type of thing, right? I think what's happening right now, especially with Benchmade's pricing, is you've got a bug out. And you see, you've got this bug out that I've got a cheap plastic handle and some S30V, and people will pay whatever I tell them to pay for it because there's such a demand. And then I got this mini bug out. And when the mini bug out, you're like, well, I could get the same price. So let's just bump the regular bug out up in price, blah, blah, blah. And so I think what's happening is like literally the bug out is pushing the Benchmade market up as far as a price point goes. They can't put this knife at $10 cheaper, $15 cheaper because it's dual layer G10 with anodized backspacers and blah, blah, blah. So if they did, people would be up in arms about a Velox plastic handle compared to whatever, right? So
what I'm hearing is that Benchmade is doing to their prices what I assume Sencut is going to do to Wii and Civivi's prices.
To a degree,
maybe not so much Wii, because Wii's already kind of in their niche that they like, but I could see Civivi kind of becoming a middle tier company more so.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, I really wonder about the price point thing when it comes to the bug outs. Because if you look at steel history, what was available over the years as the 940 progressed, like what was the original steel that it was produced in? It wasn't S30.
There was HES 34 variations. There was D2 variations. I think it was one of those two. Fisk might know. He's got some history on the 940. Yeah.
But as far as
he's saying 154 is what he's saying. But
where
see,
are you seeing that?
It's weird if 154 was the
there it is.
One over HES. That's really, really strange.
I don't know if the
kind of a predecessor steel.
Yeah, I just don't know if the 940 was old enough to. I mean, it's the 20th year anniversary.
I think the prototype was ATS, and then the first production maybe.
Okay.
Was 154.
But the reason why
we can dig up a picture of the 940 and ATS because I do know that there is one that exists. I've sharpened one before, so
fair enough.
Yeah.
It's a fake.
It might be a fake. I've talked to some sketchy dudes.
The only reason I bring this up in particular in relation to this knife, every time Benchmade has advanced a steel type within a model, that is a justification of raising the price slightly as you go. But lately, look at what's been coming out. You had your S30 that was super popular when it first hit the market. Then there was the next iteration, the S35, which kind of dialed back certain aspects of the steel while progressing others. And now you've got S45. So which is not really so much a direct upgrade to S30 as it is kind of like a linear sort of transition into something that does certain things differently. It's not a clear cut, this is better in every situation type of steel. Yeah. So I think
no, but the one thing I am hearing about S40 is much stabler at thinner angles, more like an S90 and things like that type of thing compared to S30, which is more prone to rolling and chipping when you get a little.
Absolutely, but when you're dealing with
completely off topic, but what is the molybdenum in S45?
I have no idea.
I'll look that up.
That sounds like a you answer.
That sounds like an effort answer. I'm calling out. Not it.
I'll look it up.
Sounds good. Anyway, I just think that maybe they're starting to stagnate in terms of what they can use realistically for these types of knives while continuing to get year-over-year price increases, partly to keep up with inflation, but also to get their profit margins higher, right? That and moving away from aluminum and into things like G10, because I actually would have thought it would have been kind of cool if this knife had come out with the aluminum scales. I don't know why. That just kind of tickles me a little bit more than just a plain G10.
And I mean, the reason that you skip S40 is the same reason that you're going to skip S50 is there's these milestone years where you have a bit of a midlife crisis and you just don't want to admit what's happening. The 5s are okay, and 30's like one of those like, okay, I need to be an adult. We'll just deal with that.
30's not so bad,
thing, right? Yeah. So, and that's why S60 is not being used anymore, is because they were just like, whoa, that's still like thin in the line. By the time you get to S90, man, you're just happy you made it there, right? So it's
I mean, you're not wrong. Some of my favorite knives are in S90.
I thought that was a good explanation. I don't know.
It doesn't track out all, but I'm going to pretend it does.
Go ahead, Paul.
I looked it up, and it's got the same amount of molybdenum for S30 and S45. I was reading an article about S110 recently, and in the patent for S110, the people that made it were claiming that the heightened molybdenum in that was increasing the like steel crystal boundaries and increasing strength as far as chipping and stuff like that goes. But it's Laren Thomas, right?
Yeah.
I said it right this time?
Darren Thompson?
Darren Thompson.
Devin Wisnicki. Sure. But yeah, he was saying that he's not seen anything that would point to that being a true statement. So I was curious if this might have been a step in that direction as well that people didn't realize.
Yeah.
Although Laren's pretty on top of the ball, so he probably would have realized.
I neglected to mention this in the review, but because there are no steel liners in this knife, yeah, I need to pull up a different photo. They actually have steel plugs on the inside of the handle for where the screws go, and there's no burned edges or anything. Like, it's just nicely done, because I've seen some.
That's consistent with the carbon fiber as well as the Dash 2 as well. So
right,
the only steel is what's holding the access lock in place.
Yeah, it's just nice to see it done so cleanly. Is the thing, because I've seen companies not do it very cleanly. Right, but those are molded in plastic, 100%. Aren't they? Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
This just takes just a little bit extra work, but it's cool. Because I think it was I don't have it here. Of course not. The Broken Skull from Cold Steel. They have a little steel plate that the screws screw into for the pocket clip. I'm like, yeah, I guess it's a clever solution, but it's not very elegant, and you tend to lose that little piece if you take a knife apart.
You said Cold Steel, right?
I was gonna say nothing screams elegance like Lynn Thompson and Cold Steel.
Yeah, well,
that Filipino footwork.
Like I say, not an elegant solution. Anyway, I think we covered it pretty thoroughly.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, we got an eighth person that's watching us right now. I watched it happen. Oh, and then they left.
Oh.
What did we talk about when you're that one guy that's just like, what did I stumble into? No.
Oh, shit.
I went to watch a streamer from Instagram recently, and I went to watch their stream, and when I went to click on it, there was one person watching, and I was like, no, I'm not going to be number 2. Not right now. That's way too much engagement.
Too much responsibility. I'm scared.
Yeah. I do not want to be
obligated to sub and things like that too.
I don't want to be handed the reins of your emotional stability today. Like I'll come back when there's 3 viewers, maybe.
Well, it was also Stardew Valley, which is not exactly the most exciting thing for me to watch either. So
no, it's not.
So I ran away.
That is fair.
All right, gentlemen, are we about rounded out the first episode here?
I think so.
I think so.
Sounds good.
Joe, you should see if you can find a 940 and ATS 34 for just at the end of it all. Just
for Mr. Fisk.
Yeah.
Yeah. As he's doing that, I'm gonna wrap things up. Once again, make sure that you click that like button and hit that bell to get any notifications and subscribe, or else you will have those tiny hairs on your toothbrush.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Paul's just like, la, 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 la.
I'm not going to know when we go to break because I can't hear you.
So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and do all that, or else you will be cursed. And are you there, Joe? Did you get it? Have I stalled long enough?
Unfortunately not. I'm not finding it.
Damn it, you failed, Joe.
Hey, Google has failed me.
I guess we're going to have to go to break and whip Joe to make sure he has learned his lesson. And while that is happening...
He never learns his lesson.
Nope. He sure doesn't.
Stupid.
While that is happening, make sure to empty your bladders and refill your drinks in whatever order you find appropriate. And we shall return shortly with you.
We don't need bigger knife. Yeah.